My name is Victor, and I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date's October 20th, 1997, and I owe all that to y'all, this beautiful program, and pieces like this and people like y'all. And for that, today I'm grateful. I don't know about tomorrow, but today I'm pretty grateful for that. I got lint everywhere, man. That's why my wife needs to come with me, because she takes care of me up here. But thank y'all for having me today. I always get nervous up here, and sometimes if I go into Spanish, somebody waves something, because I don't know if y'all can tell, I'm kind of Mexican, you know. Yeah. But, you know, and thank you for having me today. I don't know, I always get nervous. But my story is, the quick version is I started drinking, I ruined my life and everybody else's. Got introduced to the beautiful program of Alcoholics Anonymous, and thank God for AA, you know. The long story is, I'm originally from the beautiful state of Texas, you know, the broke part, way over there by the border, you know, and growing up, you know, it was a normal dysfunctional family, you know. I'm the oldest of five, you know, and growing up, like I said, it was a normal dysfunctional family. I always wanted to be like my dad, you know. My dad is my hero, you know. If this thing starts, don't let that fool you. I'm a gangster. If this thing starts leaking, I'm a real gangster, you know. But growing up, I always wanted to be like my dad. You know, I always wanted to be like my dad. And people would come over. Like I said, I'm kind of Mexican, so every weekend we had people over at the house, and we'd be cooking something. And I would see my dad in the corner with my uncles in their muscle shirts and their dickies and drinking beer. And I'm like, that's what I want to be, man. Like my dad, man. Like, that's my hero, man. And then my dad got a little bit worse, and a little bit worse, and a lot worse, you know. And there came a point that I didn't want nothing to do with my dad. I'm telling you, I don't know why I woke up like this today. It's just kind of grateful, you know. Every time I come to a convention, it reminds me how grateful I should be, and the actions that I need to take to stay grateful. But anyway, you know, my dad got to the point that I didn't want to do anything to do with my dad. You know, nothing, you know, we were already broke. And then you add this, and it just makes things a little bit harder, you know, so growing up, like I said, he come to the point I didn't want to do anything with my dad. And you know, time passed, and I ended up in high school, and my mom, you know, I'm the favorite. So my mom used to drive me to school. I wouldn't take the bus. My mom used to drive me to school. And that first day she said, "Mijo, man, please stay away from those things, man. Please, you see what we're dealing with at the house." And I would see it. You know, I would see it, man. I don't know if you ever lived with an alcoholic / drug addict, but it's horrible, man. And I told my mom, I said, "Mom, you don't have anything to worry about. You ain't got nothing to worry about it." I said, "I see it. I see how it affects me. I see how it affects my sister. I said, "Man, I promise you, you got nothing to worry." And I meant it. I promise you, I meant it. Well, like I said, I'm from a little small town in Texas, but as y'all know, in Texas, you know, football's pretty big, man, you know. But it's a small 3A school, and there's like, you know, I'm like fifth string or something. I'll probably be a starter in Oklahoma, but in Texas, oh, there you go. But in Texas, you know, I'm like fifth, sixth string, passing out water, man, you know. So I'm doing, you know, we're playing, and our season is horrible like always. We're losing like 1,000-0 or something, and this game came up during the season, and it's parents' night, so everybody's gonna get to play. I didn't know that, you know. I'm fifth string, passing out water, you know, and the game's going on, and we're losing like 100-0 or something like that, and they scored on us again, and the coach is like, "But Victor, go on in there, man." And I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." So I had to go find a helmet. I don't even play, man. Had to go find a helmet, and I ran in there, man, and they kicked that freaking ball, boom, and I see the ball coming, and somehow I catch it, right? And I'm a gangster, so I run, you know. So I start running, and I'm running. I'm gonna say it one more time, and I'm running, you know. And next thing I know, I'm in the freaking end zone, man. And you know, you ever seen that movie Rudy where they pick him up? Well, that didn't happen to me, man. In my mind it did, you know, but it didn't. We still lost like a 2006 or something. We missed the field goal, you know. But you know, and I've always been a part of, you know, kind of shy and all that. But, during that time, like I said, I'm from Texas, and I'm right there by the border. Like, from here to the bathrooms is Mexico. That's how close I am, And what these kids what they used to do, the cool ones, is after the game, some of them would shower, some of them wouldn't. Some would even go in their football pads. But they would cross over to Mexico, go to the little bar, play some pool, have a couple of drinks, and talk about how we got beat or something, And they invited me. And I'm like, man, I don't know. But they kept on saying that story, right? And I don't know if you've ever been to Texas or heard somebody from Texas talk, but they just exaggerate a little, just a little. So they kept on adding stuff to the story and adding stuff to the story. And I'm like, you know what, man? I love hearing that story, So long story short, I ended up going. And I walked over to Mexico, and I'm in there, and I'm going to this little bar, right? And I walk into this bar, and there's a big bouncer up there, and he's like, it's $5, free drinks all night. I said, amigo, I don't drink. He goes, I don't care. Here's your glass. He goes, don't lose it. He goes, and go in there and have some fun, man. I said, all right. So I go in there, and I sit down. I'm trying to look at this thing, make sure. I haven't even been in prison yet, but I want to make sure I get out of prison pretty quick. I walk into this place, and I'm sitting down, and all my friends, they're dancing, and they're talking, and they're drinking, and they're like, hey, you want something to drink? And I'm like, no, man, like, I don't drink. Like, I don't. Like, I see it. I don't know why I'm like this, but this beautiful girl showed up. I mean, beautiful woman. Beautiful. And she's like, hey, you drink? I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yeah. I said, I drink. And she went and got in line, got my little cup, and long story, she's not as beautiful as my wife. I know, I just want to say that, But she was beautiful, man, and she went and got me a tequila sunrise, man, and I remember that because there's an old country song called anyway, and this is the best way that I can explain it, man. It seems that before then, every day I was walking around like this. And I thought this was normal. And when I took that first drink, it was like, and I loved it. Like, I loved it. I danced. I joked. I thought I could fight, but, it wasn't a girl like Paul, but I thought I could fight. I couldn't fight, and I'm not that kind of alcoholic that started drinking every day, but I was on my way. And I was barely in 9th grade at that point, and my drinking, I got in a little bit of trouble in that high school. It's a 3A. Everybody knows each other. There's probably more people here than in the little town that I'm from. So everybody knows each other. I get in trouble. They would say that's just high school stuff, Somehow, some way, 9th. And I started, I don't know why they say experimenting. I started doing other things, Just got a little bit of it. But it was just, I'm high school, man. Come on. I'm Mexican. Shit. I'm sorry. I'm Mexican, but it never got too crazy. But little by little, getting kicked off the football team, even though I was fifth string, baseball, all that stuff, not going to these things or missing out on things. And I just thought it was normal stuff. Could never connect it, right? My senior year, I'm in the cafeteria and I'm talking to my homeboy, and this beautiful girl showed up. I mean, beautiful girl showed up. She sat in front of me with some people talking about this, and I started laughing. She started laughing. I started joking. Next thing I know, I done signed up to the Army for 2 years, right? And at that point, I had a friend of mine, and he's always the smart one in the neighborhood, and he's, by that time I was starting smoking that other stuff, and he's like, hey, Victor, man, once you leave Texas, that stuff costs a lot more. I said, really? He goes, and the Army don't pay. I said, really? He said, man, you should take some with you. I said, well, yeah, that makes sense, right? So you should be working at NASA as smart as you are, man. Now this is back in the 90s, man. I'm old. This is back in the 90s, man. 90s, as a matter of fact. And I get this Dorito bag. I emptied it. I get a quarter pound of that stuff. I put it at the bottom. Put the chips on top, get on that bus, and I made it all the way to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Over here, they say Missouri, not Missouri. Anyway, I get there, man, and don't try it. They got too much stuff right now. They'll catch you, man. But anyway, I ended up getting there, and I respect everybody in the military. I think what they do is awesome. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be doing this freely, at all. at all. But as soon as that gentleman got on that bus and told us we had 10 seconds to get off and 5 had already passed by, I knew the Army, because Ghana was not for me, man. You know, that man was hot. I didn't even know him. He was hot. And I'm like, homeboy, calm down, man. And no, there was no calming down, man. Push-ups, running, and all that for that whole, as soon as we got off the bus, 2 in the morning. I made it, we got there like on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the following Monday I was supposed to go to basic training, and on that Friday or something, they ended up putting me as a fire watch. And what that ended up, I think what I don't remember is I just got to make sure that if the building catches on fire, that I wake up everybody and, make sure nobody gets killed in the fire, But I think what they wanted me to do is if somebody's trying to leave, because believe it or not, people sign up and they realize they don't want to stay there and they want to go. They forget they belong to the Army now. And so I think they wanted me to tell it. But lo and behold, that night, there was this young man who just wanted to leave. And I'm like, amigo, calm down, man. Like, smoke some of this. You'll be all right. You'll be good, man. You'll be marching and everything. And long story short, that following day, they caught me with it. I don't know how, but they caught me with it, And they wanted to send me to Fort Leavenworth. And it was a horrible place from what I heard, man. And I told you I'm a gangster. So as soon as they caught me, I do what all gangsters do. I cried, I'm like, hey, my dad's a drug addict. Poor me. And they believed me, And they ended up general discharge with an option to come back if I man up or stop doing what I ended up doing. And the day that after the process that it took to getting to them to general discharge me, I'm sitting there and I had already packed up my stuff. By the time they told me, to pack up my stuff, they were going to give me a ride my taxi was waiting out there and they were going to give me a ride to the bus to go back home. And I'm sitting there, and the sergeant's drunk. I'll never forget his name. Big gentleman, sergeant's drunk, and he's going through my stuff, and there's a TV in the corner, and there's a news flash. Iraq is invading Kuwait. And for a brief moment, I always felt like I missed out. I love this country, man. This is where I'm from, and I missed out on being a part of something productive, something great, whatever my beliefs are. Like I missed out. I signed up, I missed out. And then it made me realize that I had missed out on a lot of things, man. A lot of opportunities. And I still couldn't connect what I was doing to my results. And then the taxi honked. I forgot about it, got in the taxi, came back home. My dad's like, what's up? I said, man, something's wrong with my foot. I don't know. If you ever got kids, he knew I was lying, man. He knew I was lying. Another disappointment, I don't know why I'm like this, but... So I'm a gangster, so I move in with my girlfriend because her dad's paying all the bills, She's the favorite also. He's got 2 daughters, and I'm dating the favorite one, the oldest one, and known her since I was in 6th grade, right? So I move in with her, and I'm a gangster. He gives me a job, and I start working there, and, continue to drink. I don't connect it at all. So I'm sitting in this apartment, and we're watching 90210. I'm old, or Melrose Place, one of those shows, And I'm sitting there watching this show, and we're sitting in the couch, and she's in my legs, and I'm holding her, and the phone rings. Back then, not everybody had a cell phone, and anyway, the phone rings, and I pick it up, and it's this guy that I don't even like, this dude. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I ain't doing nothing." He goes, "You want to go do some armed robberies?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a gangster." I'm like, why not, So I leave that girl that I've known since 6th grade, that's put up with everything, and is fixing to put up with a lot more she don't even know, but at that moment she had put up with everything, to go do some armed robberies with this guy that I don't even like, this dude, man. I don't like him. So I get in the car, and we're broke, so it's 3 of us, and we got 1 gun, So I want to use the gun in the first one, and guess what? It's not my gun, it's his gun. And I want to use the gun in the second one, and no, because they're cousins, And so I get to use the gun in the third one, and I got a whole $80 out of it or something, But that was the only gas station with the camera. Yeah. And a couple of days later, there I am on TV, you know. And I told you I'm a gangster, so what do? I run, you know. Now, my dad at that point, you know, my dad's always, you know, been a laborer. He was working in these cotton gins, you know. I don't know, I'm like this. He was working in these cotton gins, you know. During the season, he would run the cotton gin, you know, the cotton. And then on the off season, he would just get it ready for the season. And he was up in North Carolina, so I get on that bus, you know, and I head to North Carolina. And for about 3 months, I'm like, Dad, I think I messed up. He goes, what's wrong? I said, man, I did some armed robberies, and they're looking for me, man. He goes, man, mijo. He says, man, you really only got 2 choices. He goes, you can go to Mexico and never, ever come back. Or you can go turn yourself in. Well, I ain't going to Mexico because I ain't that type of Mexican, man. Like, I ain't that type of Mexican, you know, at all, man. I love where I'm from. I'm proud of it, but I ain't that type of Mexican, man. So I go and turn myself in, right? You know, with my mom, and I'm a gangster. I had to go with my mom, you know. And I get up there, and the DA's like, man, I'm going to give you 15 years if you sign it. I said, man, 15 years? He goes, man, you're young, 18. You'll be out in 5. No, you'll be out in 5 years. And I'm like, 15, man. I'm like, man. I said, Mom, let me think about it. And I don't know if you've ever been to county jail. If you haven't, don't go. It's not cool, man. It's not. You know, but there's always some kind of in-house attorney in there, man. And when I go out there, like, what are they offering you? I said, 15. He goes, man, don't take it. Ask for 25. I'm like, what do you mean to ask for 25? He goes, they want to have you on a rope, so you'll make parole quicker on a 25 than a 15. And I'm like, and the more I listened to it, the more I started believing it, man. So I called my mom, and she goes, man, don't be dumb. I mean, like, no. She goes, take the 15. They got you on camera. Like, what are you going to do? They got you on camera. You know? I'm like, well, okay, I'll take the 15, you know. So I cashed the change to the courthouse this day, and in my mind, when I woke up that morning, you know, I'm fixing to go sign for 15 years, you know. I'm 18 years old. I do the math. I'm like, I ain't got no choice, right? I don't know what's wrong with these things today, but anyway, so I'm going to this court. I show up, and it's the state of Texas versus Victor Velasquez, and make it, you know, this and that, and I'm standing here, and my mom's back here, my little sisters, and my brothers are back here, and you know, and you know, I'm the favorite. You know, my mom's crying. You know, my little sister and brothers, they're crying. I'm a gangster. You know what I'm doing. I'm crying, you know. And the judge looks at the DA and says, man, what are you offering this dude? He goes, man, 15 years, Your Honor. He'd be all right, you know. 15 years. He goes, how old are you? I said, sir, I'm 18, you know. And he started asking me a couple more, if I graduated high school. And I'm like, yes, sir, you know, and this and that. What happened in the Army? And I told him, yes, sir. I didn't tell him the truth, but I told him something, you know. Yeah, I wasn't that honest back then, and he looks at me, and he looks at the DA, he goes, man, we got this program called boot camp. You know, he goes, it's a 90-day program, and I'm going to send you there for 90 days, and that's all I heard. That's it. You know, I like to point out that when I woke up that morning, my thinking is I'm going to go sign for 15 years. And this beautiful man, out of nowhere, decided to give me boot camp for 90 days. And you know what the first thing that I thought about? I'm going to be gone all summer. Yeah. Instead of going up there and kissing this man's feet and saying, thank you for seeing something that I don't even see in me at all, and giving me 90 days instead of 15 years, and I'm already complaining that I'm going to be gone all summer, man. And the crazy thing is I end up doing this prison boot camp instead of the real boot camp, right? So I get there, and I'm marching, and I'm doing this, and I'm there, and I'm in a little unit with about 80 people, man. I didn't know I was going to end up in a way bigger unit later on, but, you know, and I'm marching, and I'm watching these classes, and there's this guy who plays for the most beautiful team in the world, the Dallas Cowboys, man. Yeah, we still got 5 Super Bowls, man. Don't let that fool you. But anyway, there's a guy named Hollywood Henderson who plays for the Dallas Cowboys, who's got a lot of videotapes about substance abuse, and they used to show us these videos, and in that video, he's telling people, you know, you need to stop abstinence. He goes, you don't need to slow down. You need to stop. He goes, if I got a stick in my hand and I'm hitting you in the head, do you want me to slow down or do you want me to stop? And I'm like, I want you to stop, you know. He goes, if you stop doing those things, you stop getting those results. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. That makes sense, right? And don't do those drugs, don't do that alcohol. And I'm like, I can do that. And my mom came to visit me, and with my girlfriend back then, because she stuck around for some reason. And I remember visiting with her, and I said, Mom, this place ain't for me, man. I said, I'm pooping with 2 or 3 guys there. I go in the shower with 30, 40 people there, man. I said, no. I said, this ain't for me, man. I said, I just want to get out of here. I said, I don't care what I do out there. I'll just go to school or get a job. I don't care. I said, I just want to be the son that you want me to be, and this. And I meant it. Paul pointed out the other day, like, I meant it. You could have gave me a lie detector test, and I meant it, man. I go back after 88 days, and to in front of this judge, and he's like, Victor, you did great. You marched, you help people with their GED, you know disciplinaries. You see, because when I'm in a place like that, I do okay. It's when I get out here, you know. And the judge is like, Victor, man, you did great. All you got to do is stop. Don't do those things. And I'm like, I can do that. I can do that. Come on, I'm from Texas. I can do that. I didn't know. I didn't know I couldn't. A couple of weeks later, I'm right back at it. Right back at it, man. Didn't skip a beat, man. Right where I left off. And things are getting worse. My probation officer likes me because sometimes I can be a pretty cool guy, and he wants to be my friend. And I would get in trouble, and he would give me a little slap on the wrist or this and that. And, and it just got a little bit worse, and a little bit worse, and a little bit worse. And I still couldn't connect at all. I couldn't see that. What do they call the elephant? I couldn't see the elephant at all. Everybody saw it. There's no elephant here. None. What are you talking about? So, it keeps on getting worse and worse. I'm still working at my girlfriend's, because he can't fire me. You can't get fired when you work for the favorite. I used to try to sober up once in a while, and I show up sober. He goes, Mijo, you look sick. Go home. You look sick. Go home. And I'm like, I'm sober, man. Like, what's up? And there were times, that I really, really wanted to stop. I wanted to stop, and I couldn't. So I'm standing there in my probation office. Back then, they used to have these machines. If you're not home and somebody calls you, it would record a message, right? So people would go home and they would hit the button and there was the message, and I'm going home for lunch or to my girlfriend's apartment for lunch, and the machine is blinking, and for some reason I push the button and it's my probation officer. He goes, I need you to call me right now. So I call him. He goes, I need you to be in my office today. I said, man, I'm at work. He goes, you want to go to prison? I said, no, man, I'm on my way. He wasn't playing around that day, And as soon as I get there, man, I see my mom there, and I see my girlfriend. And they're just telling it on me, man. They're just telling it on me. That I do this, that I steal from them. Because I'm a gangster. I don't steal from anybody else because I go to jail. But I steal from them. Right? I'm that type of gangster. And they're just telling it on me, man. How I do this, how I do that, how I show up, how I don't show up, how I'm gone, and they don't know what I'm doing, and how things are getting worse and worse. And the probation officer UA'd me, and everything came out crazy. And he's like, man, you know what? I'm going to send you to this treatment center tomorrow. You need to show up at this place at this time. And you're probably going to be there for 28 days. And I'm like, what about my job? He goes, you want to go to prison? I said, no, man, I don't want to. My mom's about this tall. And when I left there, this is the best way that I can say it before this thing just starts going crazy. I kind of cussed her out. I told her that if she just minded her own business, just mind your own business, man, I'm going to be okay. But because of you, I might be going to prison, man. through this beautiful program when I made amends to her. She said she'd rather I would have hit her than say the things that I said, because I don't know about y'all, but this thing can be pretty mean sometimes. I go into this treatment center and this guy looks at me and we're sitting down. He's doing some kind of intake and he goes, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, I don't know. He goes, "Well, your girlfriend's saying all these things." Man, I said, "I'm fixing to leave her and, she's lying." He said, "What about your mom?" I said, "My mom wants me to get married. I'm not going to get married. I'm barely 20. I'm not going to get married." He goes, "You got a job?" I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "What about your community hours?" I said, "Those are done." "You got any fines?" I said, "Those are paid. My girlfriend's dad paid all that stuff, They're paid." He goes, "Man, I don't know what's wrong." I said, "I don't know either." He's like, "Man, why don't you go home? Go home. I'm going to settle this thing with your probation officer, man. We need this room for people who really need it." He goes, "And you don't need it today." I said, "Oh, you're right. I don't need it, man." I get back, the machine is blinking and blinking and blinking, and I call him. He goes, "I don't know what you said. I don't know what you did." He goes, "But you come up dirty for anything, I'm going to send you to prison." I said, "All right." I'm an Irish Mexican. I was born on St. Patrick's Day, That's why everybody remembers my birthday. I don't remember nobody's birthday, never. Anyway, but so I had just turned 21. And this was in April. I had just turned 21. And my probation officer, the drugs back then, I'm talking back in the 90s, 91, 92, 93, this is in 93. Oh, I'm old. And he said, "Man, you come up dirty for anything, I'm going to send you to prison." I said, "All right." So that day, back then, what young people used to do, because I was young at once, used to get in your car. I had a truck, little GMC silver, anyway, short bed truck with a loud radio. Like I said, I'm Mexican, so I got a loud radio. And what you used to do is you used to go to this park, and then you get in your truck or car, and you turn your radio up, and you go around in a circle with the other car. They call it cruising. You go cruising with and then you park, and then you see other people do the same thing. And that Sunday, I'm like, I'm going to the park, going cruising, because that day I just wanted to drink. I just wanted to drink. And my friends would come up and they offer me drugs, and I'm like, "No." Like Nancy Reagan says, no. I say, "No, man, I'm not a drug addict, no. I kept on drinking, and I don't have any DUIs. I've heard people say they got 20, 30. I don't have a DUI. I think I have one public intoxication, So I'm sitting there at this park, and my girlfriend's phone rings, because I carry it like it's mine, I'm a gangster, and it rings, and I pick it up, "Hello," and she's like, "Hey, baby, come home, man, come home, you know how my dad gets when you get like this, man." And I said, "All right, I don't make it home. I killed 2 people driving drunk. I killed a 21-year-old man and an 11-month-old baby. And I wish I could tell you that ever since then, I haven't had a drink. When they say this thing is cunning, it's baffling, and it's powerful, like that's what they mean. I can't stop. And it's driving me crazy. Why can't I stop? All these people that love me, all these opportunities that I had, all these consequences that I'm facing, and I can't stop. The DA showed up, and she's like, "I'm going to give you 10 years for everything." I said, "Where do I sign?" I think 3 weeks later, I'm already in prison. I was so fresh off the street. They say I was still burping McDonald's, because I'm still fresh off the street. And when I get there, I do the prison thing. I don't know if you've ever been to prison. If you haven't, don't go. It's not as cool as they make it seem on TV, But I wake up every morning, I shave, put my clothes on, get my ID, go to the door, go to work, come outside, play some handball with my homeboys, talk trash, and repeat. I still can't stop, right? And every night, when I'm by myself, I would always be like, how did you get here, man? All these opportunities, all these possibilities, all these people that love you. Why can't you stop? Started going to church. Nothing against church. Went to church, got baptized a couple of times. They gave out cookies at church. I'm going to go to church. Go to church and got there, and I just couldn't get it. I got a celly once, and when he showed up, he weighed like 10 pounds. And in 3 months, he became a Muslim, and he was like all built and everything. I'm like, maybe I need to become a Muslim. I ordered the Quran, I got the hat, I got the rug, and then I found out they don't eat pork, and I'm like, well, I can't do that. Assalamu alaikum. But I love that pork, man. I love that pork, man. Well, everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die. I love pork, man. It still didn't work. And time passed. I think I had about 3.5 years in there. And everybody's talking about this new substance abuse counselor, Sani Casares, who's a member in good standing of Alcoholics Anonymous. And what this beautiful man did after work. And I just want to say this before I forget. If you take meetings to corrections or places like that, thank you. Thank you. Because it's because of the work that you do and all the service that you do that people like me have a shot. And if it wasn't for the time that you take out of your beautiful free time to do what you do, people like me wouldn't be here. And my mom wouldn't have, I wouldn't be here at all. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to do that. And this beautiful man would go home after work. He'd go to his home group, get a bunch of y'all, and come back and hold meetings. And then those meetings grew. And what those beautiful men did, they started sponsoring people there. And they bring speaker meetings, and it just kept on growing. And I'm in the kitchen. I'm a gangster, so I'm running around in the kitchen and all that. And some guy named Earl Davis, I still know Earl. I go up there to College Station to see him. Anyway, he's a white dude with the big lightning bolts up here, and all that. And he's like, man, Velasquez, you need to go to these meetings. And I'm like, come on, Earl. He goes, man, you need to go to these meetings. I said, man. He goes, they got cookies. I said, man, they got cookies at church. I'm good. He goes, they bring speakers. Really? He goes, sometimes they bring women. I said, what time does that meeting start? Already had about 3.5 years in there, man. Almost 4. And I need to get out of prison. I'm sorry. I'm going to make this quick. So I get in there and I go to this meeting, and I'm sitting in the back because I'm cool with my starched iron prison clothes. It's crazy. If you've been in prison, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm all starched out in the back with my friends, all cool. And the speaker's over here pouring his heart out, and I'm over there just being a gangster. And for some reason, God saw it fit that I had a little moment of clarity to shut up and listen. And this beautiful man was talking about the doctor's opinion, about the obsession and the allergy. And for the first time in my life, I knew why I couldn't stop. Not only did I know why I couldn't stop, I knew where there was a solution. And for some reason, I got the courage, because I tell you, man, I'm a coward. I'm a coward at heart. I'm a coward. That's why I didn't take my life, because I know when I caused that accident, I felt the same way some of y'all feel. I'm just a coward, man. And so I got up the courage to go up to these meetings and keep on going. I go to Sonny and I ask him to sponsor him. And he's like, man, all I ask you is to be honest. Just be honest with me, man. I said, I don't know how to do that. He goes, just be honest. Whatever happens in your life, whatever you're feeling, tell me. He says, and if you want a life like you never had before, you need to do things you've never done before. He goes, and this is it. He goes, it's not going to be easy. And I do that. Oh, I'll do whatever. I'll do anything. Anything. That's my favorite line. I'll do anything. So, that beautiful man started sponsoring me, and I'm not going to go through the steps. And I think if you haven't get a sponsor, that's got a sponsor. That helps if they got a sponsor also. Helps out a lot, I promise you. But anyway, so I go in there and I ask him to be my sponsor. We're going through these steps, and then we got to step 3. You see, when I came in here and I would listen to these speakers, when you talked about why you drank, how you drank, and how it made you feel, I agree. I can relate. Amen, Jason. Amen. You know, amen, Jason. You know, I just wanted to give my boy Jason an amen, man. He didn't get one yesterday, man. But you know, when you talk about those things, I get it. But then you bring that God word, and that's where you lost me. That's where I'm like, man, I don't know. And then we did that third step prayer. You know, somehow I got to the third step prayer, and I'm in this prison, holding hands with Sonny on our knees, saying this third step prayer, right? And when we got up, you know, it says immediately start. But before we started that, he goes, do you get the concept of thirst? I said, yeah. I said, no, I really don't. He goes, Victor, when you turn your will and your life over to the care of God as you understand Him, your life is none of your business. None. Your job, wherever you work, whatever career, he goes, that's none of your business. Your job is to prepare yourself to be a maximum service to everybody, especially the people that I don't like. It's easy for me to be nice to the people that I like. To all those Dallas Cowboy fans, oh yeah. Then you bring an Eagles fan, like, 49ers, 40 whiners? No. It's easy when I can anyway. So, you know, and it started a journey, man. I did my fourth and fifth step, and I got a bunch of freedom. I could face the world, you know, when I admit when I'm wrong. You know, when I admit the things that I've caused and don't play around with what it is. This is what I did. This is what I caused. You know, and of course, during this time, you know, the Dallas Cowboys are playing. You know, and they're losing like 1,000-0, or they're winning, and then they throw like 30 interceptions at the end, you know. And there's this guy in the prison running around who hates the Cowboys, you know. His favorite team is whoever beats the Cowboys, you know. And I told him, why don't you bet something, man? You're running your mouth, you know. Why don't you bet something? And he ended up putting like $10, which in prison is like 10,000, you know, because everybody's watching. So he bet $10, you know, the clock is ticking. I know we're fixing to lose, so I go to my cell, put my boots on, take my shirt off, I take my muscle shirt off, put the baby powder on. I go to the day room, and he's like, where's my money? I said, homeboy, you ain't getting paid. Now what? I'm a scaredy cat, you know. He had just made parole, you know. He was just a little bit more scared than I was, you know, because I'm not the fighter. My brother's the fighter. I'm the talker. My brother's the actual fighter. I don't fight, man. But don't let this pink shirt fool you either, man. But anyway, so, you know, he doesn't fight. I cuss him out in front of everybody. And for some reason, when I'm going back to my cell, like it's bothering me. And I already had about 5-6 years in there, and I've done a lot of worse things than that. Worse things. Never bothered me. Because I felt if you were grown enough to get into that prison, well, you're grown enough to face the consequences. That's it, you know. And for some reason, it bothered me. And I go to Sonny and I tell him, in long story short, he's like, Victor, you need to go make amends. I said, I can't, Sonny. I said, man, I'm in prison. I said, I can't. He goes, man, if you want that life that you never had before, these are things that you need to do. I said, man, Sonny, I can't. And I go up there, you know, and I had already started this relationship with God because I wasn't good at relationship. My best relationship was with that bottle. Everything else was just, they were just there. My only relationship was that bottle. I never left that bottle. But Sonny gave me the best advice when I said, I don't know how to have a relationship with God. He goes, Victor, a relationship with God is like a relationship with y'all. I don't know most of y'all. You might not even like me because I'm a Cowboy fan with 5 Super Bowls, you know. But if we talk every day for 5 minutes, and those 5 minutes grow to 10 minutes, we can become friends. Good friends. We can become almost like family. You know, and that's the relationship I have with the God at that point. It just started with keep me sober, to thank you, to how can I be of service. And somehow I got the courage to get on my knees and pray. And I said, God, I don't know what to do. I said, just give me the courage to do the things that you want me to do. And next thing I know, I'm packing up that bag with money, you know, toothpaste, soap, bad money. Good money in prison, if you ever go, is food. You know, anything else is bad money, like soap, toothpaste. I gave them like $10. I paid them double. I paid him double because when you're late, you pay double. At least that's the wasn't back in 90-something. And I go to the day room and I pay this dude. We didn't become best friends. He's not here somewhere, I don't write him. I don't know what happened to him. But I know what happened to me. Free. When the state of Texas says 10 years, guess what? Well, they mean 10 years, man. Yeah. So in 2003, the state of Texas decided to let me go, and they gave me $200 for those 10 years. Boom. So what's the first thing I buy? Cigarettes, I get out and I get some cigarettes, and my brother picks me up, and we go visit my grandma up in Texas because, she's getting older, and it's been 10 years, and I've seen her 2 times since I was in prison. And I show up, and my dad's there. He's like, "What's up, Mico?" I said, "What's up?" He goes, "You just got out?" I said, "Yeah, I just got out." He goes, "You got any money?" I said, "Dad, I got about $130. He goes, "Let me hold 60. I said, "Dad, that's all I got." He goes, "Let me hold." I said, "Dad, I don't even know where I'm staying." He goes, "Mico, you're staying here with your grandma, man. Don't worry." Long story short, I didn't give him the money. He reminded me of what kind of son I was. You see, I always had a resentment against my dad. Always. But the things that he didn't do, the things that he did, the things he should have done. I remember talking to Sonny about it, and, after listening to me whine, he's like, "Well, Victor, you ever thought about what kind of son you were? Did you ever lie to him?" I said, "Yeah, to his face." "Did you ever steal from him?" "Yeah." "Ashamed him?" "Yeah." See, that's what I can change. Anyway, he's still my hero, and he ended up cussing me out, and my brother hands me the phone, and I'm crying because I'm a gangster, and my dad just got on me, my hero, and it's my mom, and she goes, "Mijo, man, what are you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm here with Abuelita, this and that." She goes, "Why don't you come to Arkansas with me?" He goes, "You've been gone for 10 years. Just spend a few months, a year, and then you go do whatever you want." I said, "Arkansas?" I said, "What part of Texas is that?" I didn't know. By the Panhandle or something, And like I tell you, I'm a gangster, so what do? I'm moving with my mom, I'm driving her truck and everything, And I get there, and I call Sonny. I say, "Hey, Sonny, how are we going to do this long stuff?" And I'm not saying this is the way you're supposed to do it or that you're not supposed. I don't know. It's between you, God, and your sponsor. I don't know. I don't know at all. I don't know what he told me. He goes, "I can't sponsor you from here." He goes, "I need you to go to a meeting. Go to several meetings, pick a sponsor, and then, work the steps with him." I looked in the yellow book. I found the meeting, phone number of 1-800 Alcoholics Anonymous, and I go up there, and I've told you all this the other day. I was walking up there, and my mind is like, "Come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow, man." I'm like, "Man." And this beautiful man's like, "Hey, you a friend of Bill W.?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." Man saved my life. He goes, "Come on in, man. Make the coffee. Put me to work." I know how you feel, Jason. Put me to work, man, right off the bat. I don't know because I'm brown or anything. I'm just kidding. Put me to work, man. And I started, and I still go to that meeting twice a week, at least twice a week, And I met my sponsor there, and when I first met my sponsor, I didn't like him because he showed up with this big Rolex and this big truck and talk. And then I heard his story and how he used to live in a tent, and how God provided him with this lifestyle. And I see him at step studies. I see him at the treatment centers, and I ask him to be my sponsor. I'm already out of prison, right? Okay, So I'm out of prison, and I'm sitting there at the meeting, and I don't have a job. I just got out of prison, 10 years. I don't have a job. And I'm at a meeting, and this friend offers me a job. And I go, "What do you do?" He goes, "I'm a painter." I'm like, "Man." He goes, "You want a job painting?" And I hate painting. I hate it. Hate it. I ain't that type of Mexican, man. I'm telling you, man. But what do? I take the job. I take the job, and I'm painting, and I'm painting, and I'm painting. And at this time, the little I'm out of prison kind of is wearing off. Getting a little bit more comfortable. Go to these meetings, and I'm tired of them. I'm tired of y'all. All your slogans, all your "this too shall pass" and all that bull corn, and they got this camp out. And they're inviting me, and I'm like, man, I ain't going on that freaking camp out, man. Forget that. Go in the middle of the woods. I've seen that movie. I said, no. As soon as I hear a banjo play, like, I'm running, homeboy, I'm running, And what do? I end up going, man. And I met this friend or offered me a job because I spoke Spanish. It's easy for me. I don't know about for y'all, but it's easy for me. I got the job. And I remember when I got there, the lady's like, if you steal from me, you just go back to prison and I hire somebody else. He goes, but if you pay attention and you do the work, you can make a career out of this. And today I still do. And I don't do it for her, but I still do the same thing. And this time I met this beautiful girl, man. Beautiful. Met her, 20-some days later, she moved in. I know. She said I told her she could move in, So she left the treatment center to move in. Showed up with the car and a towel. All she had was a towel, man. And everybody told us why it wouldn't work. And I'm not saying this I'm telling you, I don't know what I'm doing. I wing it every day with God. We're still married, I still have that towel. When we get mad, I put it by the door. Anyway, we ended up getting married, and somehow, I know how. We had a little girl, Charlotte, man. Charlotte, man, and I was working at this title company. That's what I do. It's kind of stressful. Realtors, lenders, people want to move in their house and all this, and I'm kind of stressed out, because money's always tight. I'm not good with money. If I get $10, I'm going to spend $15. So I'm up there, and I get home, and my wife is white. She's from Benton, I said that because she doesn't cook the way my mom cooks, fresh flour tortilla. My mom, I'm her favorite, man. At least 3 times out the week, she's cooking breakfast at my house. Love me. She loves me, man. I don't know why. So, I get home, and then I'm like, she's cooking, and I'm like, hey, what's for dinner? She goes, fish sticks. And macaroni and cheese, and I pull up that thing, and it's not even the shell. It's the little elbow thing, man, with powdered cheese, and I might have said something, I might have. And then she say something, and I'm kind of going back and forth, and I'm hot. I work hard, man. And I'm angry and this and that, and I walk into the living room, and my little Charlotte is crawling around, and I pick her up, right? And I got her little bottom here, and she's playing with my ears. And then it hits me. She's 11 months old. And I knew what I took from somebody. I always thought I knew. I always thought I knew what I took from those people. But when I was holding my 11-month-old, this thing just leaked. I go into the kitchen, I hug my wife. I ate like 10 servings of those freaking fish sticks, man. I call Don Peters, I call him, and I tell him, it's crying and all, because it's not crying, kind of leaking. I'm going to call it leaking. And he's like, now you're ready to make those amends. See, because when I make amends, it's not to relieve me. I need to know the damage that I caused you. It's not those $20, man. It's not. It's how I made you feel when I took those $20. And when I realize that, it makes it harder for me to do it again. We have a little boy, Reuben. He's my I named him Reuben. I wanted to name him Victor because I want a junior. I'm a junior. And I'm telling my wife, I'm sorry. I named him Reuben after my brother. I'm kind of jumping ahead. I named him Reuben because of my brother, because he's got 4 daughters. And when I was in prison, when I needed something, I would just send him a letter. I'm like, homeboy, I haven't seen anybody. I'm going crazy. Can you just come visit me? Because sometimes it doesn't seem real that there's a world out there. When I'm in this cell with this concrete and this steel. And I see the pictures, but I just need to see you, just to make sure it's not fake out there, He'd just show up. Drive 14 hours, show up. Anyway, so I named him Reuben after my brother. And he is the sweetest. I'm glad I had a daughter first because it softened me up. So by the time Reuben came, I was a little bit more soft, And then she got pregnant again. I should have bought another TV or something, man. But she got pregnant again, and it's a boy. And I want to name him Victor, right? I want to name him Victor. And my wife's like, why don't you name him after my dad? I'm like, man, you're crazy. Well, he's got 2 daughters. I don't care. I don't care. I know he doesn't like me, and I don't care. No, he loves our family. But, and I'm telling him, I want a junior. I'm a junior. And then Ruben's like, I want to be your junior. So guess what my boy's name is? Steven. Yeah. By the 3rd child, my wife, for some reason, wanted to have him at these places in the water. I don't know. I'm Mexican. I don't know. I'll go to the hospital. That's what they're for. No hospital. She wanted to go to this dude. I don't know what they're called. But anyway. So she's having contractions, and long story short, she leaves school, and because she's a teacher at this point, and we go to this place, and the lady's like, oh no, man, you got about 6 more hours. Why don't you go home and pack? I'm like, oh, okay. So we go home and pack, and I'm talking to my boss, and I said, hey man, I'm not going to be there tomorrow. I'm telling him the story, and I hear a scream. I'm like, what the hell? I run inside, and my wife is on all fours on the hallway, and she's like, the baby's coming. And I look, I'm like, it's not coming. I said, it's not here yet. I said, can I pick you up? I put you in the car. I said, I'll drive you to the hospital. She goes, the baby's coming. And I look again, and then it's like, whoop, the head comes out. 911. I call 911, right? And it's like, what's your name? Victor Velasquez. Velasquez, V-E-L. And I'm going like... I said, my wife is having a baby. She goes, yes. And she's asking me all these questions. And then I hear, whoop. I said, hold on. And I put my hand out and bam, So I delivered my own baby, right? Bam. So I'm all excited and this and that. She's excited. And the paramedics finally show up. And I didn't cut the cord at that point. And they take her out and I'm stay home, right? Because I'm packing up the rest of the stuff. And we end up being in the hospital. So I go to the hospital and I joke a little. So when I walk in there, I'm like, I know somebody owes me some money because I delivered that baby, I got insurance, man, the good kind, Blue Cross, I got insurance, man. I didn't get nothing. Then it got kind of quiet in the hospital, and the doctor comes in, and she's like, your baby's got Down syndrome. We didn't know. We don't check. If God chooses us to be the parents, we're just going to be the parents. And I got scared because I know what kind of teenager I was. I was horrible. And I get afraid that somebody's going to pick on my little boy and then I have to go back to prison and eat ramen noodles again or something, But I'm reminded that I'm not God, man. I'm not. God's got a purpose and He shows us. Now, He's a wonderful, if you ever have a kid with, they're a handful. But, and I say all that to say that the beautiful gifts that I've gotten on this program, I was speaking in Texas a few years ago, and sometimes when you talk, you'll stand up here and people come and shake your hand. And this lady came up to me and she grabbed both my hands, and she didn't mean this bad in any way. But she looked at me and she's like, how can you live with yourself? I can't. I can't. Left to my own devices, either be drunk or dead. I'm a coward. But my life ain't none of my business. It's not. Today, because of this beautiful program, making amends and working, I'm free. I'm free. I can have joy. I can have love. I can allow to be loved. I'm still working on that one. I can be a friend. I can have friends. And if that's all I got out of this beautiful program, I win. This beautiful program has changed not only my life, but everybody's life. My mom used to hang chickens at Tyson when I was in prison, being a gangster. She'd get off work on Friday, drive 14 hours to Texas to see me for 4 hours on Saturday, spend her hard-earned money on a hotel, see me Sunday for 4 hours, and then back it back on Monday to hang more chickens. And I remember seeing her there every year. She got a little bit older. Hands be all swole up from hanging those freaking chickens while I'm in the prison being a gangster. And there's a beautiful story in that book that says, man, all I want to do is whatever you want, whenever you want, anytime. I remember telling her all that. I said, Mom, when I get out, all I want to do is, I just want to do good. Whatever you want. I'm living with her. It's summer. And she's like, Mijo, I need you to cut the grass. You know what I say? It's too hot. Because I forget. That's why I come into these meetings. I come to meetings, I sponsor people. I have a sponsor that's got a sponsor. Because I forget. It's cunning. It's baffling. And it's powerful. And like Paul said, I forget way before I take that first drink. Way before I take that first drink, I forget. I'm irritable. I start worrying about things I cannot change. Like, is the earth flat or is it round? You know, I think it's flat. Just kidding, you know. But I worry about things. I worry about things that are out of my control. Or I worry about things that I don't have that you have or that I should have. Or I live in the past, or I worry about the future. Sober. Horrible. Horrible. And through step work, I learned that I can only change me. That's all I can change. That's it. And if I live in the only creation happens not in the past, not in the future. It happens in the present. I can't create stuff in the past. I can't create past in the future. I can only create past. So it teaches me to live in the present. You know, this beautiful program, you know, my dad passed away a few years ago. And, I was at a meeting and somebody mentioned something about the 10-second hug. He goes, if you're mad at somebody, man, next time you see him, give him a 10-second hug. See what happens. I'm up there in Texas visiting family. I gave my dad a ride to this place because he was in the street with a sign. Had kidnapped him 2 times, brought him to Texas, to Arkansas. I said, Dad, man, please, you know, just don't get in trouble. Because if you go to jail, I'm not going to bounce you out. And what happens? It goes to jail. And what do? Damn right, I bound him out. That's my dad, you know. Couldn't help, you know, and I went up there to see him and I gave him that 10-second hug. And it became a little bit longer. And a little bit longer. And the next thing I know, this thing is leaking. I never seen it leak. His stuff is leaking. You know, he's telling me this and I'm telling him that. And a few months later, he passes away. You know, and today, you know, I just hope that I'm the kind of man that he would have been proud of. You know, I need to cut this down and I'm sorry. But this beautiful program works. There's nothing special about me. I'm not tougher. I'm not smarter. I don't have a better hand. Nothing, man. I'm just a garden variety alcoholic. That's all I am. But there is a solution. You know, today I don't believe there's a God. I know without a doubt that there is a God. All the time. And I don't know what's going to happen today or tomorrow. And to be honest, I really don't care. Because as long as I follow these principles, I can stay free, I can stay happy, and I can be of service. And I owe it all to y'all. To this beautiful program. This program is not for people, in my opinion, this is only an opinion, who want it, or even for the people who need it. I think it's for the people who actually do it. I don't believe in working out. I think that's the dumbest thing, to be honest. To pay somewhere to work out, go lift heavy stuff. I've told you, I'm not that type of Mexican, man. Like, lift heavy stuff, just for free. I'm going to pay you to go lift this stuff, you know. Doesn't make sense. But if I want those arms and that health, I need to do it. I can join a gym just like I can join a group. I can have a trainer just like I have a sponsor. But if I don't do the work, and it doesn't matter, people say it all the time, it doesn't mean if I believe in it, it doesn't matter if I like it, it doesn't matter if I agree. If I'm doing it, and I keep doing it, in 90 days when I pass by that mirror, I'm going to be like, damn, ese, look at you. Because it happens automatically. I just want to thank everybody again for having me, you know. Thank you, Steve, for praying with me. Probably I'm a strong prayer, a believer in prayer, man. Thank you for putting up with me and my no answering texts once in a while, you know. But thank you so much for having me. I love y'all. Be safe on your way home. I had a great time this weekend. Thank you for inviting me. And I really appreciate it. And God bless y'all. Thank you, man.